The M4 Mac Mini is here, and I believe that this is by far the best Mac that Apple has ever made. And I've got 9 reasons as to why that is. Okay, a bit of a setup change as I'm currently in Hawaii attending the amazing Snapdragon Summit. And I want to give a quick shout out to Grammarly for being the sponsor of this video. They're an AI partner that helps you communicate your ideas with quality suggestions in a more efficient way. And now, back to the video. And by the way, if you're wondering why my background looks so different, it's because we have now moved into a brand new office, or we're in the process of moving. So this is still a work in progress. It is by no means the final version, so we'll keep improving it in every single video. But yeah, let me know, what do you guys think about the setup so far? Like I said, there's just tons more coming. Okay, so the first reason why I think the new Mac Mini is probably the best Mac ever made is because it is also the smallest Mac ever made. The previous Mac Mini was already small, but the new version, just like previously leaked, is significantly smaller, and only a tiny bit bigger than an Apple TV. This is also the first Mac Mini redesign in 14 years, and one that you could easily fit in your backpack, possibly even your pocket. I mean, just take a look at this thing, it is so cute. The second reason is the ports. Despite the Mac Mini being so tiny, it comes with a surprising number of ports. We've got an Ethernet port, which you can also upgrade to a 10 gigabit port as well, something that we only have on the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro. So if you've got a NAS like we do, having built-in 10 gigabit Ethernet is incredibly useful. We've also got an HDMI port for up to 4K 240 or 8K 60. And then we've got 3 Thunderbolt ports as well as 2 more USB-C ports on the front, which replace the previous USB-A ports on the back, plus a headphone jack there too. The front ports are especially great for when your Mac Mini is sitting on your desk and you want to quickly plug in some drives, as it now matches the Mac Studio with those front ports. Sadly, we do lose 1 Thunderbolt port, as we only have 3 now instead of 4, like on the M2 Pro Mac Mini. However, we now get the same port layout on both the M4 and the M4 Pro versions, whereas before, if you wanted 4 Thunderbolt ports, you had to buy the M2 Pro model. There is just one single port difference though, and that is, if you buy the M4 Pro version, you'll get Thunderbolt 5 instead of Thunderbolt 4, which is the third reason why I think this new Mac Mini is the best Mac that Apple has ever made. You see, Thunderbolt 5 was announced in last September, but as far as I'm aware, no Thunderbolt 5 devices have shipped yet. So I think this Mac Mini is one of the first, if not the actual first computer to feature Thunderbolt 5. And with it, we get a 3 times increase in transfer speeds, from 40 gigabits per second to 120. What this means is that you can now drive triple 4K monitors at 144 Hz, or even 2 6K displays off of a single Thunderbolt 5 cable. That is just insane. Here in the office, we've got a bunch of Thunderbolt docks that give us way more ports. For example, CalDigit's latest Thunderbolt 4 dock gives you 18 ports out of a single Thunderbolt 4 cable. Thunderbolt 5 docks will technically be able to give you double or even triple the amount of ports, whilst also having a ton of display outputs, which means that despite the Mac Mini having 1 less Thunderbolt port, each of those 3 Thunderbolt ports are now 3 times more capable. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in a dock such as this one, you can find it linked down below. The fourth reason is the RAM. The M4 Mac Mini now comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM by default as opposed to 8, while the M4 Pro version now comes with 24 as opposed to 16. And this is just awesome, as both models now come with the perfect amount of RAM for their target user base, whereas before, you did have to pay more to upgrade, which is no longer the case. Additionally, you can now bump the base model to 32 gigabytes of RAM, up from the previous maximum of 24, while the M4 Pro model can now be configured up to 64 gigabytes from 32. So if your workload needs a ton of RAM, there's no need to get the Max or the Ultra chips anymore. Okay, so earlier I mentioned Grammarly, your personal AI writing partner that works with you across a wide range of apps and websites to help professionals get their work done faster, more effectively, and to a higher quality. But you don't need to keep rewriting to get the right tone across. In just a few clicks, Grammarly can adjust your message to the way you'd like it to sound. There's no copy and pasting in between tabs, as the recommendations appear in line to make your writing clear and concise. In my case, it helps me stay more professional when I'm speaking to our sponsors or our wallpapers designers, where I can choose to sound more direct, more formal, or more personable. Grammarly can even help you brainstorm vacation ideas, or in my case, video script topics, and way more than that. Give it a go for yourselves. There are plenty of options to choose from, and all the features that I showed you in this video are all free to use. Okay, now back to the video. Despite its super tiny size, this new Mac Mini packs a serious punch. The base M4 model already outperforms the M3 Pro chip in terms of single-core performance, and even matches it in terms of multi-core. The GPU is weaker, which is understandable as it's got 10 GPU cores as opposed to 14 or even 18 on the unbinned model, but when you consider that I'm literally talking about the base $600 Mac Mini here, which I'm comparing to a $2,400 MacBook Pro, it's honestly shocking that you're getting better performance in the CPU department. But wait, there's more. If you thought the M4 model was too good to be true, well, the M4 Pro is even better, as it comes with a 14-core CPU, up from the 12-core that we had in the M3 Pro chip. However, while the M3 Pro had 6 performance and 6 efficiency cores, the M4 Pro has 10 performance and 4 efficiency cores. So we're getting 4 extra performance cores here. This combined with a 75% more memory bandwidth means that the M4 Pro is an absolute monster. In our M4 MacBook Pro leaks video, I predicted around a 20,000 to a 21,000 multi-core score in Geekbench 6. We still don't have the final numbers, but based on the numbers that Apple gave us in their launch video, Luke Miani calculated about a 22,000 multi-core score, which is actually quite similar to my prediction as well, which would place it above the M2 Ultra and the M3 Max chips, which is absolutely insane. And on the GPU side, just like I thought, we get 2 more GPU cores, for a total of 20, with up to 2 times the GPU performance of the M4 model, with what looks to be a 25% performance gain compared to the M3 Pro chip. Of course, the Mac Mini only had an M2 and an M2 Pro chip before, so the upgrades from those chips are even more significant. Also, the M4 Max chip that's literally just been introduced in these new MacBook Pros, it didn't really change the CPU core counts at all, and it only comes with 2 extra performance cores as opposed to the M4 Pro. So really, this M4 Pro chip is the star of the show this year. Reason why, this Mac Mini is in my opinion the best Mac to get, as it is the cheapest way of getting your hands on the M4 Pro chip. But wait, there's more. Thermals. With this redesign, Apple has also redesigned the Mac Mini's thermal system. So rather than the intake being on the bottom and then the outtake being on the back, on this new model, both the intake and the outtake are at the very bottom. The thermal system then redirects the airflow to go in between the 2 logic boards, while the top one is technically the power supply, and then it comes right out the back. So based on how Apple described it, it should be better than the previous thermal system, which was already very good on the Mac Mini. The 8th reason why I think this is the best Mac that Apple has ever made is because it is the most affordable Mac to support triple monitors. Yes, Apple has now bumped the external monitor support so that even the base M4 model can drive 3 external displays, up from the 2 that we had before. 2 of these 3 displays can be 6K in resolution, while the third can be 4K. Whereas on the M4 Pro model, we can do 3 displays at a full 6K resolution. I was hoping that we'd see more than 3 displays supported on the M4 Pro model, as 3 is what we had last year as well. But hey, I think that's still fine, as most people don't really need 2 displays at all, let alone 3. And the fact that you can drive them all in 6K is just incredible on such a tiny device. But by far, the main reason why I think the new Mac Mini is the best Mac that Apple has ever made is the price. The fact that we now get an M3 Pro level of performance, 16GB of RAM by default, a ton of ports in such a small device, all for just $50 more than a pair of AirPods Maxes, that's just incredible. Plus, if you're a student, you can get the base M4 Mac Mini for $500, so even less than the AirPods Max. And with the M4 Pro model, you get more CPU performance than the M3 Max for just $1,400, as opposed to having to spend more than $3,000 for the M3 Max like you had to before. So, will you be picking up an M4 Mac Mini? If so, I think you will absolutely love it. Stay tuned for my hands-on video on this new app for Mac Mini. We'll also be doing benchmarks, gaming, and testing just a ton more stuff. Oh, and if you want to continue the conversation on the Mac Mini, check out our ZONEofTECH Discord down below, which we've just updated with tons of new channels, competitions, and way more fun stuff for you guys to enjoy for free. And the link to join is in the description. I'm Daniel, it's been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.